Knits podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, sometimes crocheting, but always about all of the yarny goodness that I love. Today is Friday, September 8th, and I'm coming to you from Nebraska. A big welcome to all new viewers and welcome back to returning viewers and subscribers. Thank you so much for taking time to join me in my crafting adventures. Other places you can find me besides YouTube, I am on Instagram and Ravelry as cbcraftygirl, and we do have a fairly active podcast group on Ravelry for Carla Knits. And we've had lots going on lately. So I'm going to highlight a few of those things before we get into the knitting. So if you're just here for the knitting and don't want to hear about administrative stuff, then move forward a little bit. But if you have been participating in make-alongs or any of that, I'm going to share a couple things with you right now about what's going on. So let's see, I do want to start with, we have a 12 Skeins of Christmas swap open in our Ravelry group. So this is open to people to contact me if you would like to swap mini skeins. So these would be leftover fingering weight yarns, primarily indie dyed from your yarn stash, and you would exchange with a partner. This would go out to be used in December. Sorry, not speaking really clearly. So you would be paired with somebody, you guys would exchange your minis, and you can talk, you know, when I pair you up, you can talk about if you'd like to exchange some other little goodies or a full skein of yarn. And I would encourage you, you know, this year, if you're doing it, because so many people are into DK weight socks, maybe check with your partner if you're going to do a full skein. You know, would you like fingering weight or DK weight? Do you want it to be a sock blend for the DK weight? So anyways, if you would like to participate, you need to be a member of the Carla Knits Ravelry group, and you just need to send me a message that says you would like to participate. So far, it is just for US residents only. Shipping costs have certainly gone up, and so everybody is very mindful of that. So we are going to stick with US only. I'm sorry to all my international viewers about that. Hopefully you can have some fun swaps with friends maybe in your area. But I'm putting a deadline that I'm going to close the swap on Saturday, September 16th. So that should be 1 week from the time this video goes up. Just so I have time to partner those people up who want to participate and get that information to you, and for you to contact your swap partner. So links to that and all that I talk about will be in the show notes down below. So make-alongs that we've had going on. We have 2 year-long make-alongs. So let's see, sorry guys. All right, it's already been quite a morning, but that's all right. So 2 year-long make-alongs in the Ravelry group. One is a Love Your Stash mail, using your stash. So love to have you join us for that. So just highlighting a couple of finishes in that group, you know, from the last couple of weeks. The first is by Book Dragon 92, and that's Amber, and she made a really fun pair of Halloween Advent socks. Those are really, really fun. And then the second is a sweater. This is by Bab's Heart. That's Barbara, and it's a pyramid in the round sweater, and it's really, really pretty. And there's lots of other beautiful finishes in that group. So feel free to check that group out for some great project inspiration. The second make-along that's going this year is a blanket make-along, and a couple finishes in that group since the last time I podcast. One is Leslie 529, and she made a crochet ripple blanket, and that turned out really pretty. And then Cosmos 3 is Sheila, I'm sorry, Cosmos 3, Sheila, and she made a scrappy granny spike stitch blanket. So both crochet blankets. So very pretty blanket. Then we have 2 additional make-alongs. Both have finished now. One was held over Labor Day weekend, so the 4-day long weekend. So we had just an informal Labor Day hat knit along going on in our group, and just a couple of finishes here. One is by Knitting Dancer. That's Teresa, and she made a stretchy swirl beanie. And then Amy Has Time made the Wavy Way hat. And then Karn Z, that's Leslie, she made this really soft, cozy looking hat, and she actually made 2 additional hats over the course of this weekend knit along. So way to go, Leslie. So thanks to all who participated or who hopped in the group to chat. I know some people were working on some hat whips, and some people started some things. So I hope you just enjoyed, some hat knitting over that time. And I will be sharing my finish for that weekend when we get to finished objects. The final make-along I want to talk about is the Merry Makealong and announce prize winners. That ended on August 31st. In the chatter thread, there were 29 posts. So I did a random number generator, 2 through 29, and it picked post Sparky 136, that's Patsy. So Patsy, if you would contact me on Ravelry, you can choose a pattern up to $10 and let me know, and I will gift that to you. And then from the finished object thread, there were, 68 finishes in there. So way to go, guys, on working on Christmas items. So 2 through 68, random number generator again. It picked post 42, who is Delightful Works Susan, and she has this really sweet self-striping socks, which she made a couple pair. So again, Susan, if you would reach out to me, and I will gift you a pattern prize as well. So congratulations to Patsy and Susan, and great job everyone on working on your Christmas items. It always feels so good to get some of those gift things done earlier than November, December. So that is all of the make-along information and swap information. So we will get into some finished objects. So the first finished object I have is the sweater that I am wearing. I am very happy that I have this, have gotten this finished. It feels really nice. This is Luminous Summer by Minimi Knit Design. The yarn I used is Juniper Moon Farm Zooey in the Sloop colorway. I know the camera is picking it up brighter than what it is in person, so I would say, gosh, it's almost like a dark raspberry color, but I know it's showing up a little brighter on camera there. But I really like how this turned out. I know I shared that I was concerned about some of the holes and I would have to do some surgery, so I did my, kind of weaving in and closing up some holes in the back where I did some short rows. And so, and blocking it definitely filled out the stitches a little bit for that area. So while those short rows are not perfect, I'm very happy with how this sweater turned out. And I know I will still get some use from this fall. We have had some very warm weather, and while we are cooling down, we are still in the, 80s, upper 80s, mid 80s. So I will definitely enjoy wearing this. So really happy to have this sweater off the needles. And I would definitely use this yarn again. It's nice to work with, and it feels very cool to wear. So really, really like this. My second finished object is the hat that I worked on for Labor Day. And I know on the last podcast when I talked about the make along, I had a couple patterns that I was going to choose from. And for the bright pink yarn, worsted weight yarn I showed, I had picked a different pattern, and then I changed my mind and picked a completely different pattern, which that's okay. It's knitting. We're allowed to do that. But this is the hat. And isn't that yarn fantastic? So let me give you some details about this. This is the double braid beanie by Kira Burdick. I saw this hat pattern. I saw the hat knit up by Yvonne on the Nitty Bitty Sisters. So hello, if you might be watching. I saw the hat that she made, and I just thought it was beautiful. I loved that big chunky cable. So I decided that I wanted to do that. The yarn is by Studio Cat Knit in Barbie's Camper. I guess I will try it on. So I guess you could put the cable in the front, or you could put it off to the side. I don't know, maybe a pom-pom on the top would be really cute. But I think this hat turned out really fun. And now my hair is probably a mess, but that's okay. Yeah, I am so pleased with this hat. I absolutely love that cable. And then, there's some ribbing, but it's like with garter stitch in there. So I just think that is so very pretty. So that was my hat that I was working on over Labor Day weekend. And I did start another hat, which I will share when we get to works in progress, but still on finished objects. Let's see. I finished. So, yeah, I had some things I really wanted to get done. So the sweater was one. I wanted the hat for, doing a hat for the little informal knit along. And then I wanted to finish this pair of socks. So this is for a birthday gift that will be going out this month. And I think these just turned out so fun. This yarn is Wisdom Yarns Picks in the Paisley colorway. It's colorway number 103. It is still available. I did hear from Brenda of the Night Owl Fibers podcast, and she said she just had to get this yarn. So it is available, and I did look online, and there's lots of fun colorways in this Wisdom Yarns Picks. So I am very tempted to try to pick up some more, but we'll see. I do have plenty of yarn to be knitting. But that is a finished pair of socks. I haven't blocked them yet. I just stuck them on the blockers, but because they are a gift, I will soak them and then put them on the blockers to relax those stitches and make them all pretty before they head out in the mail. So I can't remember last time. I think last time I showed one of the socks as a half object, and I don't believe I had started the second one. So I was pushing to get to get that sock knit over the course of the last couple of weeks. So that is a finished object. Then I have a dishcloth. So if you remember from last episode, if you were here, I kind of went maybe a little bit on a tirade about the dishcloth. So this is the first dishcloth I knit. I showed this last time, and if I'm holding it up, or I guess I can hold it down, you can see that bottom corner it's wonky. It's wonky. I just don't like that corner at all. I enjoyed knitting it, but I just didn't like how that corner turned out. And I asked, you know, if any of you had, you know, a pattern that you really liked or advice for, you know, making that corner look a little more rounded or better matching to the rest of it. And several of you commented, either on the YouTube comments, or I even had Instagram messages. So I really, really appreciate all of you who commented on this. I will have to share my friend Lois. She's an in-person knitting friend. She, you know, she was wondering if those dishes would be concerned about the wonky dishcloth, which no, of course not. Of course not, Lois. But you know, when you're gifting something, you don't want it to be super crooked. So anyway, the overwhelming recommendation was to watch Noble Character Crafts, Amy, which I do. Hi, Amy, if you happen to be watching. And she has a dishcloth pattern that she uses. And so several of you told me Noble Character Crafts, who the washcloth was by, and Amy herself even commented on the video. So I made the dishcloth that she recommended. So this is by Carolyn Stanton. Her designs are under Carousel. This pattern is free on Love Crafts. And here is the dishcloth. So this is the finished or the final edge. And so it is much more rounded. I have not blocked it. I probably won't block it. So it may not be completely perfect, but it's rounded as opposed to pointy. So I did follow Amy's recommendation, what she did for finishing off. And I did not do as many, increase to as many stitches as recommended in the pattern. I think it says to go up to 60. I believe I did 54. But then I followed Amy's instructions for where to stop and bind off. So I am actually really happy with this. Yeah, so it may not be perfect, but it's as close to perfect as it's as close to a good square as I have ever had. So this yarn is so nice to work with. This is K&C Essential Cotton, which I got at Joann. Yes, Joann. And this is in the desert colorway. And I do have more skeins of different colorways. Some of them were on clearance, so that was really fun. But a very, very nice cotton to work with. So I really do like how that turned out. And I can kind of fold that into a nice square. It looks pretty nice. It looks pretty nice, huh? So I'm happy with that, and I have yarn ready to go for another dishcloth. So I think for the first dishcloth, I'm going to save that for me, and then this will go in the gift box, the second one. So again, thank you to all of you who commented about the dishcloth. Amy, thank you for reaching out directly through those comments. Really happy to have that pattern. And yeah, so that probably will be my go-to dishcloth pattern for just the simple garter stitch dishcloth. So very happy with that. So those are my finished objects for today. Going into whips, this is going really fast. I just really have a couple things to talk about with my whips. So I cast on a second hat for the Labor Day hat knit along, and this was one of the patterns that I wanted to do. So this is the Trail Dance hat by Darcy of Chit Chat Knits. And this is as far as I have gotten. So the yarn is Lavender Loon. It's a DK weight, and it's in the color Romantique. This is a skein of yarn I got to kind of commemorate my trip to Minnesota. It's a Minnesota, well, Lavender Loon is a Minnesota dyer. But the colors just remind me of like sand and the water and a little bit of the trees. The interesting thing about this pattern is when you flip up the brim has cables on it. So that is very unusual for a hat pattern. So there's a certain technique you do in the pattern to allow yourself to be able to flip it up and have those cables. So these are really, really fun cables. I am so enjoying this pattern. Oops, I'm going to lose a stitch if I'm not careful. Yeah, really enjoying this pattern. I have knit several of Darcy's hats, well, at least a couple of Darcy's hat patterns, and have really enjoyed them and really enjoying this one. So again, trail dance hat. So hope to finish that up soon. I am not completely sold on the yarn and the pattern. I think the yarn would, or I think the hat pattern would shine even more if it was a tonal yarn. But this is what I went with, and I'm happy with how it's knitting up. So we're gonna go with that. So that WIP has gotten a bit of attention since Monday, yeah, this past Monday was Labor Day. Yep. The other project that I have that has gotten just a little bit of attention, you know, I was paying more attention, I guess, really to the socks, to the sweater, and to the hat. But the other item that I pulled out that I started on July 13th, which, you know, that's a while ago. It's silly. I'm not usually one who has socks on the needles super, super long, but I have a feeling this one is going to be, just because I have some more gift sock knitting that I am going to do. This is the Harvest sock. I don't remember who it's by. It's from a set. It's from a collection, a cuff down collection, which was gifted to me by a viewer. Thank you. And so I picked one of the sock patterns, and it's got this really fun little cable or twisted stitch detail in there. And I was here last time, so I have completed the heel flap, heel turn, and then I finished picking up the stitches around the gusset area. And so now I will continue. The yarn, the speckled yarn at the top, it's a twisted rib for the cuff. That is by, it is a Knit Picks Hawthorne fingering in the graffiti speckle colorway. And then this gorgeous pinkish color is Knit Pick Stroll fingering in the Summer Blooms tonal colorway. And that was gifted to me from my birthday knitting buddy, Candy. Hi, Candy. We both shared the same birthday. So that is the progress I made on the sock. So those are the projects that have gotten the attention this week, that after my finishes. So the hat and the pink sock. So as far as WIPs, currently I have the hat I showed, the trail dance hat. I have the pink sock. Well, and that's sock number 1. I have, sorry, bending down here. Just briefly, I'll show this, the Betangled Shawlette, which I did get a little bit of work in on that. So I have that on the needles, and then I have my Carla's Garden Shawl, which I will show again, which I do think I made a little bit of progress, but I will, that's the Carla's Garden Shawl. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4 projects. So for September, I definitely would like to get the hat done, which that should go pretty quickly. I would like to get the Carla's Garden Shawl done because that's also been on the needles quite a while. And probably not finish the other two, but definitely give them some attention. And then I need to do some more gifts. So the next thing I'm going to cast on sock wise. So currently I have the pink sock on the needles, and because it's for me, you know, that can wait a little bit. Yeah, I guess that can wait. But I am going to cast this on. This is by Tall Pine Yarn. It's a self-striping colorway. And I had originally bought this to make a pair of socks for Jenna. It's definitely the colors of her school, but she's really not interested in hand knit socks. And I already did purchase a couple pairs of like slipper socks for her for Christmas. So I feel like because she doesn't really enjoy the hand knit socks, that's okay. But my father-in-law's wife is a big Ohio State fan, and she saw this yarn and she said she would really like a pair of socks. Now her birthday is in October, kind of towards the early part of October. So I don't know if I can get a pair of socks for her. I won't make them like super long. So I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to use this for the heel for her. So, and her feet are a little bit shorter. I mean, they're shorter than mine, which is nice. So it'll go a little quicker. They are shorter than the other pair that I just made. So again, that's nice. So I think this will get cast on really soon too. Other than that, I told myself I just definitely want to get a couple finishes, the Carla's Garden Shawl done before I cast on like maybe another big project, or bigger project besides socks and hats. So I want to be good so I get some of these things done because they're beautiful and I love them. So I plan to keep working on those. How many projects do you guys have on your needles? This is kind of a comfortable amount right now. I feel okay about this. So I think it's good. But there's so many things I want to cast on, but maybe I'll wait till the next episode and see how many things I've finished, and then talk about some dream knitting and some things I'm going to be knitting this fall, which will be here before we know it. I do have one yarn acquisition for today. This is by Sorella yarn. I really like her yarn. This was her, oh, there's like a little knot. Oh, that's just the tie. This was from her Taylor Swift collection. And so it was a pre-order. So I ordered it a while ago. I can't remember when that was. July, maybe? I think it might have been July. So Taylor Swift collection, it's based on the song Wildest Dreams. This is special to me because my daughter Jenna worked on this song quite a bit in her voice lessons. So when I would go with her, I would hear her singing this song. So that song is always stuck in my head. So I just thought this would be a really special skein of yarn to to have to remember, you know, Jenna working on that song. So this would be a great contender for Chit Chat Knit, the Spesh cowl. Beautiful pattern. So I'm thinking about that. Someone else suggested the yarn. I had a Madeline Tosh blue speckled yarn from Minnesota. That would also be beautiful. I have so many skeins that would make a beautiful cowl, but I'm going to wait on the fingering weight on casting on, you know, a new fingering weight project until I get that shawl done. I definitely want to get that fingering weight shawl done. So that is the one yarn acquisition I have. I guess just a little bit of chatter since I talked to you last. Settling into the school year, things are going pretty well. It was a little bit of a crazy morning. I taught my younger piano students today, so it was a little bit of a crazy morning. The schedules were kind of changed around because it was picture day at school. But that's okay. I have one more lesson to go back and teach this afternoon, so I'll be doing that. I am taking a line dancing class. I don't know if I talked about that last time. Maybe I did, but a line dancing class again at the library. So it's every Thursday night for 10 weeks, and it is so much fun. I absolutely love it. Usually for a couple days afterwards, I am super sore, although it's Friday today, and I'm not as bad as I was last week when I had dancing. So it is so much fun. Are there any other line dancers out there? I'm absolutely loving that. Jenna is doing well in school. I got a text from her last night that she made it into another auditioned musical group. This one is a women's group, so she's really excited about that. So we're really happy for her. We've enjoyed some trips to the lake. So we have to definitely enjoy this month of September and get as many trips, you know, to the lake as we can, because the boat will come out of the water in early to mid-October. So I know these weeks are going to fly by. So we need to enjoy our time at the lake, because that is definitely mine and Jeff's favorite thing to do, is to go to the lake. So the 2 weeks, I try to podcast every 2 weeks now. It just seems like the time flies in between this, in between podcasts. So I hope that you are all doing well and enjoying your knitting or crocheting or whatever craft you love doing. I'm always curious, when you are watching a podcast or when you're watching this podcast, are you working on a project? I'd love to hear that. Tell me what you are knitting on right now if you are watching and knitting on something or crocheting on something. I would love to know that. So just one more reminder, if you are interested in that mini skein swap, 12 skeins of Christmas mini skein swap, and you haven't contacted me, please message me on Ravelry. I will be closing that next week, Saturday the 16th. So I think that is all for today. So I hope that you have a good couple of weeks until I see you again. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.